Jeff, the Browns defense has not been the same without Denzel Ward, and here are some tangible numbers. 3 games without Ward, defense has given up an average of 140 rush yards and 189.6 passing yards. With Ward, 96.1 rush yards allowed, 141.3 passing yards allowed per game. And Jeff, Denzel Ward's he's a high-paid cornerback for a reason, and Jim Schwartz uses him man-to-man, and that fits with what the front does. It all works together. It's important to keep in mind the last 2 games, they haven't had Denzel Ward. That's why you've had Cortland Sutton and a little bit of Puka Nakaya and Cooper Kupp last week.
Well, I mean, first things first, look, Denzel Ward is obviously a fantastic player. And now obviously playing on his contract extension, looking to be worthy of every penny. But you look at the face of this Browns defense. Look, if some team loses their top cornerback, what are the odds they're going to start a first-round pick and they're going to start a former top 100 player like Martin Emerson? Denzel not being out there certainly hurts, and there's no question about it. But these guys are all capable, and it's not like just because Denzel's out there, everybody else should be playing better. I think. Do I still think this defense is solid and really, really good? I do. Do I think there's also the possibility that maybe some guys on this team got a little caught up in, the headlines and how much they were being talked about? Yeah. And, sometimes, when maybe the focus isn't completely there, or you're asking guys to maybe do roles that they're a little unfamiliar with, some of the success and certainly maybe some of the absolute, total knowledge of the situation and understanding, grasping exactly what your role is, gets lost. Look, Jim Schwartz, this is the reason you brought him in here. He built this defense, and we talked. He said, "I don't know how much there is to do here. I think we can go, pretty basic. I have the corners, I have the defensive line. I should be able to get the pass rush I want to do. That's fine. But now you adjust to the adjustments, and that's the spot that Jim Schwartz is in right now. Some people have now kind of gotten his number. And even though Miles is not out there in 100%, look, a lot of teams would love to have Zadarius Smith and Okoronkwo as their starting defensive ends. Just because you're limited. And look, to be fair, we've looked at the other side of the ball here, and this team is now on its 4th quarterback. Offensively, which is not the strongest unit on this team, it's not really been an issue. They found a way to win games with DTR, obviously, certainly with PJ Walker. Joe Flacco for about, 50 minutes and change looked like he had a really, really solid chance at winning the Browns ball game. You guys got to step up when your number is called. All that being said, I do think maybe the long road trip, and as great as the idea of going to Denver and then going to LA, these guys were away from home for 9-10 days. As great as the idea sounded, it also got the guys out of the routine. I mean, look at us who do the content business. It was really tough to keep up with this team, because, we're used to everything being done Browns facility-wise 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 6, 7 o'clock. And now this was a schedule. These guys were on an extended period of time. They're home now. Obviously, that's passed. Maybe that's something they can revisit if the opportunity comes up in, a season or two where they can kind of take a trip like this. But it may not have been the best thing for this team. As much as they talk about the city, as much as they love it, the guys like to go to Cavs games, all of this stuff. There's a lot of factors here. And eventually, teams are going to be good, and Denver was improving, obviously. Certainly the Rams, with health and getting guys back, were improving. Hopefully that's something now that can aid the Browns, as maybe for the first time in probably a month or so, maybe we're talking about the Browns getting guys back into practice as opposed to the guys that have been exiting practice and exiting games.